On the hunt for comfortable, timeless Western boots? You already know the best place to shop for quality boots is at your local Tacova store. So stop by Tacova's Nashville, at the Mall at Green Hills, or on Broadway by Ryman Auditorium. That's right, you now have 2 locations to choose from. Grab a cold one as you shop and get fitted by a pro. Tacova's Nashville is at your service, and you can find your perfectly fitted dream boots with the help of their expert staff. Everyone will be asking where you got your sick new boots, but I won't be asking because I know they must be Tacovas. That's TECOVAS.com. Don't go gently, y'all. Hey Nashville, how's it going? Today on CityCast Nashville, we're doing a preview of Bonnaroo with WNXP's Events and Promotions Director, Emily Young. She loves Bonnaroo more than anyone we know, and she was also a longtime DJ on the festival's dearly departed on-site Radio Bonnaroo. If you're going to the farm this year, we've got the hot tips you need and the can't-miss sets you'll love. If you're not going to Bonnaroo, we've got some fun facts about the history of the festival that you can impress your friends with, plus a recommendation for a show to see in town instead. CityCast Nashville is presented by our exclusive launch sponsor, Tacovas. It's June 12th, 2024. I'm Grace Fuse, and this is what Nashville's talking about. Emily, how's it going?
It is great. How are you?
I'm so good. Before we get started, I just want to point out and tell you that I was an intern at Lightning 100 while you were there.
Oh my God!
You might not recognize me because I did have a blue pixie cut.
Wait, I love this connection. Now I feel bad that I did not recognize you.
It's okay.
Was I nice?
Yes.
I hope?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, look at us. So cute. So you're one of Nashville's most prominent Bonnaroo enthusiasts. When was your first Roo, and what do you remember most?
My first Bonnaroo, it was a high school graduation present from my parents. I guess I graduated that would have been 2011 maybe. Man, what is time? And that was my very first experience seeing people being comfortably openly nude.
Huh.
That is what I remember most. But honestly, I credit that summer and that experience is the reason I wanted to work in the music industry. I've never met or seen a community of music enthusiasts and lovers in that way, and seeing how kind everyone was and that everyone just genuinely wanted to be there to celebrate this beautiful, cool thing. It was life-changing.
What are some of your all-time favorite Bonnaroo performances that you've attended?
Number one would be Paul McCartney. I mean, for obvious, it's Paul McCartney, but also
Fair.
That's very much the Beatles were like just integral part of my childhood and what my dad made me listen to, and I loved it, and it's probably shaped so much of the musical taste that I have. And it is one of the only times, and this was pre me working in this world at all, so I was just, a GA peasant, just trying to camp out early, weasel my way in. And I was pretty much on the rail and openly weeping. I was with my brother, and you could tell he just panicked. He didn't know how to comfort. He was just like, I don't know what's going on here. I'd get one pat on the back, like, are you?
Oh.
And it was just this moving experience, immediately followed by when it was over and I turned around and saw this mass of people, and I panicked. And I was like, I've never been more afraid of being trampled in my life than I am right now. I remember just being like, we should just stand right here and wait for other people to go around us. But that was one of the most memorable probably ever. I also saw Nashville band Jeff the Brotherhood play there at some really crappy, it was the Miller Lite stage. It was just this tiny thing crammed off to the side. And were just such a part of my youth in Nashville. So being able to see them play there. And then last year, in the same kind of social orbit as Jeff the Brotherhood, Diarrhea Planet played after officially breaking up actually, but turned more into a hiatus. And those are some friends of mine. And watching this band that hasn't made any music in so long play to an insane amount of people was really special.
Okay, on the second part of that question, what are some sets that you've missed that you deeply regret?
T-Pain.
Oh, okay.
100%. I was on the radio. I also ended up, and I kind of hated myself for this, I left early on Sunday during Tom Petty's set. I saw a part of it, and then I went home. It was raining, And it was Sunday. I mean, you just get so exhausted by Sunday that I was like, I want to leave. And as I drove away, I remember being like, what am I doing? This is so dumb. And okay, nope, here's a third one. Tame Impala, because I went back to camp to take a nap. Never go back to take a nap. You're not going to wake back up.
Emily, that's so sad. And I'm sad for you with all of those. But let's go to the future, Emily, and let's do a little preview of this year's fest. If you can go only for one day, which one is it and why?
Saturday is the day. If you get there early enough, and you're going to have to, I guess technically you're staying till the wee hours of Sunday morning. But I do feel that is, from the first band to the final, that is the most jam-packed day. It also happens to be the one that has the most overlap of like, oh, all these things you want to see, they're all at the same time. So you're going to have to be choosy. But I do think that is the best night. That is the night that Red Hot Chili Peppers are headlining. Immediately before them on the main stage, Cage the Elephant. So you get a little bit of, local-ish love.
Incredible.
Yeah, but you also, on the total other end of the spectrum, have Renee Rapp, who people are really shocked to hear that I'm a fan, but like, come on. But also, that day kicks off with Joby Riccio, Nashville's own finest, who put out my favorite album of last year. It's called Whiplash, Americana country adjacent. And she's playing like the smallest little stage. And I think that everyone should wake up early enough, hydrate, do what you need to do to make sure that you hit that first, because that is one of the things I'm most excited about. It's also ahead of, she's making her Opry debut in a couple months. Like, she's about to blow up. This is going to be one of those opportunities where you can say, hey, I saw her play this tiny stage at Bonnaroo.
Yeah, that's sick.
And then if you stay up super late, you can make it all the way to one of my personal favorite bands, Idols, which is post-punk out of the UK, very oi, 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 in your face. And the music itself and the appearance of these men, you're like, oh, wow, is this going to be scary? No, they're singing about women's rights. It really is kind of the best day.
What are the can't miss sets on the other days?
I would say on Thursday, there are a few. First and foremost, Gwar. If you've never seen a Gwar show, I just feel like everyone should experience this. Are you familiar?
I'm not, if I'm being honest.
Okay, great. All right. Picture this. It's a Halloween party. That's going to be the easiest
Great
way.
already.
Everyone is in costumes, masks. They are like intergalactic warrior type things / monsters. There's typically some type of sacrifice in the middle of it. Also, people who are singing about political issues and addressing these topics too. But they will like spray fake blood into the audience. And that's kind of part of the experience. Yeah, it's fake. It's fine.
Yeah.
Pivot, hard pivot. There's a few sweet, like indie up and comers on that day that I think are very worth seeing. Geese is kind of this, it's a little post-punky, but more shoegaze type band out of New York. Nation of Language is making very new wave 80s adjacent music. Super cool. Also, Nashville's own New Nashville Medium Build.
I was going to say medium build, hype for medium build.
Hype.
What about on Friday?
Friday, my thoughts. A few first and foremost. Also, I'll start with like mellow. On the mellow side, you're just looking to kind of vibe. You maybe are just, this is when you want to sit down in the shade. Bonnie Light Horsemen, which is a super group of sorts. So probably folks might recognize the vocals from Eric D. Johnson of Fruit Bats. He made this super group. It's a trio. It is, some of the most beautifully written songs, and they're so tender and sweet, but it is definitely mellow. On the other end of the spectrum, T-Pain. Hello! I just feel like I want to know if T-Pain is doing classic T-Pain songs, or is he doing some of these covers? He released a covers record.
I want to just say as a general commentary, I've always wondered when I'm at festivals if I'm going to hear the latest album for like the big stages, and it never is. They know their audience. They know that I want to hear the hits.
They're doing a festival set.
Yeah,
they're playing just hit after hit. So I'm hoping and I'm assuming like you're going to hear Bartender. Mm-hmm. I'm in love with Stripper,
of course,
from T-Pain. For the old heads that miss the old Bonnaroo, their one moment, Joe Russo's Almost Dead is playing. So you can have your jam band Grateful Dead moment. You can wear your tie-dye and spin in circles. You can do your thing.
Okay. Can't miss on Sunday. Last day.
Can't miss on Sunday. Well, the most obvious one, and the one that I think is going to be the rowdiest and the wildest, and it's not going to be your headliner, it is going to be Chapel Roan, who could now probably be your headliner. Let's be real. And that's like a weird, tricky thing about booking these festivals is you have to do it so early. And she had like some buzz, but now it is so huge. I mean, beyond anything that I could grasp, because also, you want to talk about weirdos? Chapel Roan. And I'm here for it. She deserves all of the mainstream popularity, but she's playing at one of the tents. And I don't know how they're going to pull that off. I feel like it's just going to spill over. I tried to I was doing some research. I'm like, who else is playing? How possible would it be to move her to a bigger stage? And I don't know that it's possible, but that is definitely going to be the one that cannot be missed.
I mean, you've seen the Coachella clips. Like, come on,
Did you
it's
see-
magic.
Oh, for Boston Calling, which was just like a few weeks ago, she had more people than any of the headliners.
I mean,
you had
yes.
security guards doing the hot to go dance.
So on Sunday, you've got Megan Thee Stallion, Jason Isbell, and Taking Back Sunday playing on top of each other. How do you manage that?
You know, there's a few approaches that you can take when you've got these stacked bands. If you're a diehard fan, so what I would personally do on this day is you should just keep inching closer, ride the rail for Megan Thee Stallion. You do not want to miss that experience. But if you're like, look, I am a decent fan of all of these things, cool. You got to really be strategic. You got to watch that map. All right, if this stage is here, and Jason Isbell is at the one completely adjacent, and then Megan Thee Stallion's on the far other end. So you're going to hit Taking Back Sunday first. Then you're going to scoot to Isbell for a little bit, and then you're going to scoot to Megan. You've got to just accept the fact that you're not going to see a full set. But that's how you can get kind of the most bang for your buck. You see a couple songs, all right, we did it, we move on. But I will say, if it's someone that you're just, this is it, this is my one and only, skip the others. So you got to make sacrifices.
So do you have any tips and tricks for first timers in terms of like where to eat, how to walk around, what to do if it rains?
Yeah, I feel that I give like old man tips.
Good.
I feel that the tips I give, people are like, this just sounds like an old person telling me what to do, because my tips are these, that I'm like, you should get some sleep. Mm-hmm. You should hydrate and get sleep. Those are going to be first and foremost the most important things. Chafing, very real. Do not wear denim shorts. No, dude, the way that denim rubs on a thigh, don't do that. That's bad news. I'm also personally a do not drink alcohol until the sun goes down. I think that is also a really good tip. It is very hot outside, and that can help a lot. Obviously, sunscreen galore. And I will also say that you should, some of this is with camping, make sure you are packing food. Also, the price of food can get kind of expensive inside the festival. So packing things for yourself. Sandwiches, yeah, dude, eat a turkey sandwich at 9 a.m. That's fine. But if you are going to buy food, there's really only one vendor that matters. And that is spicy pie. It's the best pizza you can get. You can only get it at music festivals. Other people try to copy it. It's not the same. And you got to get the original spicy pie, which is pepperoni and jalapenos.
That's a hot tip.
And I did recently discover, through just one of those nights I did happen to stay out late, you can buy an entire pizza. You can get an entire spicy pie pizza. Is it going to be like $50? Yes. Is it worth it? I think so.
We were talking about crowds earlier. Do you have any hot tips on like feeling more comfortable in a big crowd? Because that's really my number one stressor with a festival.
And I think that's also with like the nature of what our world looks like. That's scary. It's scary to be in a big crowd. And I think knowing yourself and what your comfort level is huge. I mean, I will say, generally, even still now, as some of the festival has shifted and changed, most of the people there are good and sweet, and they want to look out for you. And so just keep that in mind. And also look out for your fellow person. I mean, that you are bound to find someone who took a little too much of something or drank a little too much of something, or honestly might just be overheated and is struggling. And so I think that's also key. So knowing that there will be people kind of looking out for you, even if you don't know it, and looking out for other folks and just doing what feels best for you.
Once upon a time, there was this really cool thing called Radio Bonnaroo. Can you tell us about that and your role in it?
Yeah, so Radio Bonnaroo, I guess they took over a local Manchester radio station, and it happened during early days of the festival throughout the end of the festival. And they brought in handful of hosts and DJs, primarily from Middle Tennessee, come in and take over this radio station and get to play whatever we want. And the idea was to kind of enhance the Bonnaroo experience. So back in the day, prior to we have cell phones, we have Bluetooth, we have all of this like cool accessories to make you feel comfortable and entertained at camp. It was, all right, you're turning on your car a little bit and listening to the radio. Like, that's all you got. So we were there to be that kind of at camp entertainment. And that included also any type of emergency communication. So, say there's a storm rolling in. Hey, you can't go into the festival. Hey, the set's getting canceled. We're going to give you weather updates, schedule changes, and also kind of tips.
That's so cool. And I can imagine how helpful all of the updates would be. I know there's been some crazy weather things in the past couple of years.
That is a panic moment, though, of like, I'm not a weatherman. What am I? I'm supposed to give. Hold up, hold up. You
Yeah.
want me
Yeah.
to tell everyone?
Right. Evacuate. Evacuate.
Yeah, truly. I was
Just a
like,
girl.
just a girl. I drank. There's been a free keg of beer back here for 3 hours. I do not need to be this weatherman. But no, it really is. It's so fun. And I think that that adds to it, too, because here you are listening in your car and you're just like, it's like hearing a buddy be like, hey, y'all, sorry. Weather's bad. Stay home. It's like we're in this 4 days that we're all here, maybe more, give or take. We're creating our own little town.
Does that town vibe still exist?
No, not really.
Okay.
I feel like I said that so directly. It's different. There's been a lot of changeover in the festival itself of who owns it, operates it, runs it. This has really transitioned into kind of what the entire music industry has. Like, I thought about it and I was like, I don't even think it's a Bonnaroo change. I think it's a systemic change across the entire industry. I mean, Bonnaroo was started based off of like jam band culture. This is some hippy dippy shit. We are the Grateful Dead. We're caravanning down. Everything is tie dye, free love. And now it's transitioned into a lucrative business. And what makes money is more mainstream popular music. And I think, I don't know what was first, chicken or the egg. Like, did the booking change and then the rest of the culture followed? Or what, but I think it's not even necessarily that Bonnaroo's different. I think no festival like that can even exist anymore because I don't think they make the same type of money that people want them to make. Now you've got to sell this tent brought to you by Liquid Death or whatever. You have to sell these sponsorships and generate this revenue. And so that alone changes everything. So, I don't know that it's just Bonnaroo. I think it's across the board. Try finding just like a homegrown, sweet musical experience. You don't see them that much anymore. And, you can look into a certain organization that is now under federal investigation to see how some of those things happen. And it takes a lot of the culture out of things. So I would say no, but also the fans are still there, like the fandom and this obsession with, music and being around these people, that's still there. And I don't think anyone can really take that part away.
That's so interesting. I'm hearing a little resentment in your voice over the transition into being a lucrative music festival. Do you truly resent this, or are you like kind of understanding of the fact that we have to move towards a lucrative thing for us to get bigger acts and Megan Thee Stallion, may I say?
Right. That's the thing too, though. But then again, when it was, back at being still kind of before it fully transitioned, they got like Paul McCartney. So I don't know. It just... I think that there are individuals, and I would count myself as one of them, fighting the good fight to create spaces and opportunities for music discovery. It's just really hard when you don't have the resources. But I don't resent it. I actually feel challenged by it in a way that, like, I want to meet this and hopefully be a person that can continue to create spaces in this way. But I also do resent it. I mean, I don't know. So many of my friends are musicians, and I'm like, why would you do that to yourself nowadays? It's a tricky spot to be. Are you an artist? Are you an advertiser? It is a weird thing. I can't take credit for that. This band Bodega out of New York just put out a record, and that's an opening line of a track. And I was like, that's it.
I was going to say that's so good. Okay, if we're not going to Bonnaroo, what shows should we check out in Nashville instead?
On Sunday, the National Museum of African American Music is hosting their Juneteenth block party, headlined by Nappy Roots. What? Wild. Also free. They're going to have a beer garden. There's food vendors shutting down part of Broadway and Fifth right there where the museum is. And I think it is such a special thing in a way that it feels totally different from Bonnaroo in like the best way sometimes I feel that there are certain parts of the city and our music industry that are elevated more in this town. And the museum is doing such a great job to force their way in and say, yeah, you're going to pay attention to this too.
That is awesome. Thank you so much for those tips. And thank you so much for your time. It was so fun talking to you. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
That's all for today here on CityCast Nashville. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell a friend? Rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our Hey Nashville newsletter. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Bye-bye.